When you're in the backpacking stage of your traveling life cycle, it's really easy to make friends while you're on your travels, especially when you're staying in hostels. I mean, you're probably going to get really close with the people that you're staying in the same room with, but when you're at the stage of your life where you're staying more in hotels or rented apartments, it can be a lot tougher to make friends while you're traveling. So here are 5 things that you can do to help you make some friends while you're on your travels. Number 1, go to a bar. Now this sounds like kind of an obvious tip, but the trick is to actually sit at the bar. That way you can start chatting with the bartender. They're usually a local. You can also easily start a conversation with anybody that walks up to the bar to buy a drink. And who knows where that conversation may lead to. You may end up spending the rest of the night with whoever you happen to just strike up a conversation with at the bar. So make sure you sit right at the bar. Tip number 2, go to the bar, but don't go too late. When you go to a bar or a lounge or even a club and it's starting to get more later in the evening, the music's louder, everybody's drunker, and it's just a lot more crowded. So you won't really have a chance to sit at the bar. It'll be difficult for you to make any conversation with the bartenders, and it'll be difficult for you to make conversation with anyone just because it's too loud and you can't hear anything. If you're gonna go to a bar and try to meet some people that way, make sure you go much earlier, say around 9, 10 o'clock, but it depends where you are. For example, in Barcelona, early to go to a bar would be around 11 or 12 at night. So just make sure you get there before the big crowds start to come. Number 3 is to book an activity or a class or something of the sort while you're traveling. This is a really, really good way to meet other travelers in your city. Tom and I, when we went to Florence a couple of years ago, we went on a Vespa tour, which was so good. I'll link the blog post to it down in this description so you guys can take a look. It was awesome. It was really fun. Driving Vespas through Tuscany obviously was amazing, but then we had 9 wines that we tried at a wine tasting along with lunch. And because everyone was starting to drink and we were eating and we had been with each other for half of a day already, we all started talking at the lunch tables and we ended up becoming good friends. And there was a particular couple that were there and they were Australian who we still keep in touch with today, and they were just super sweet, and we ended up going out with them that night. You go and sign up for a class, like try like a cooking class, any kind of day tour, so even something simple like a free walking tour. Everybody on that tour is obviously going to be completely new to the city and from all over the world, so it's a really cool way to meet people that are visiting the city with you and that you might get to meet up with later on your trip. Number 4 is try to meet a friend of a friend. So before you go someplace, put a message out on Facebook or Instagram saying that you're so excited for your trip and that you're going to this destination, and asking if any of your friends or your networks has any friends or family members in the place that you're going to. You never know, even if you're going someplace that you think no one knows anyone, this world is so small these days, so you might be able to connect with somebody's family member or distant friend. So if anyone tells you that they do know somebody where you're going, then see if you can get connected on Facebook and see if they have some time while you're there to meet up for a drink or a coffee. The idea is that you should ask them to recommend a place to meet you. That way also it's not too difficult for them to get to, but they'll probably know some really good local spot that you'd never think of. Even if you only just meet for a brief coffee, at least you have a new friend in the city, and who knows what could happen. You guys might end up really hitting it off and going out together later that night, which they'll show you all the good local spots, or they might have really good recommendations on day trips to take or anything of the sort. Number 5, go to a meetup or an event in the place that you're going to. So if you check websites like meetup.com, a lot of times they'll have different kinds of meetups for different kinds of interests. So obviously you love to travel. You can go on there and see if there are any meetups for travel lovers or for bloggers or any kind of interest that you have. Maybe there's some kind of cooking class that's going on. A lot of times if the meetups are free, or if you have to pay for them, you do some kind of activity. But again, it's a really, really good way to meet both locals and then maybe some tourists that are also there as well. And number 6, the easiest way to meet new friends while you're traveling when you're not a backpacker is just to make sure that you're being friendly and approachable. So no matter what you're doing, if you just look like you're having a nice time and enjoying yourself, it makes you so much more approachable, and you're more likely to get into a conversation with someone who's really interesting and really cool and end up becoming good friends. So I want to know how you guys make friends while you're traveling, even though you're not staying in hostels or being a backpacker. Let me know in the comments down at the bottom of this video. I'd love to hear your tips as well and to share it with the rest of the community. And and be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. There's gonna be a lot more travel tips and stylish travel advice coming your way soon. So this is a big one, guys. How to travel more when you have a full-time job. I get questions about this all the time. I know that it's really difficult to be able to travel, especially if you live in the US and you